everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson. You're watching Nature Nell, and if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. This is my favorite show of all the episodes I record. It's What's in Bloom, and I am bringing it to you early in June because I felt like last month there was still so many flowers and blooms to show. Ooh, it's nice and breezy. We need it. It's been very hot. I missed out on showing you guys a lot of blooms that were about to open, ladies in waiting, as I like to call them, spikes that are just about to open. And there's still a lot more in my new greenhouse, which if you guys haven't seen the unveiling, go back to maybe two episodes, and you'll see the extension of my greenhouse, which I am so in love with. There's so much room now and space to walk around, and I can see my orchids in a proper distance instead of being right up front to them because I was squished and I was knocking things down. So I know a lot of you guys left comments saying that great, now you can buy more, but I don't want to really do that. I like the way it looks. Maybe in the future, if we decide to build another greenhouse or another extension, then I'll get more. But as of now, I like the feng shui effect it has. So it's really, it's just perfect. So anyways, without further ado, let's go look at some blooms because I want to show you guys everything that's in there in a one packed episode. See you inside. All right, guys, so let's start as we always start in the front. Now you're going to see flowers here and there, and I'm sure you guys are probably like, oh, what's that one? If I skip them, it's because I've already featured them on the last What's in Bloom. So perhaps go back to that video if I didn't cover it here, and I may have covered it in the other one. So anyways, this is one that I was waiting for so badly. Now, last What's in Bloom, it was only in buds. But look how beautiful. I got this from Florida Orchid House at Apopka, Florida when I went to the Krull-Smith November show. Look at that, how pretty. And this one, I know have a tag for this. Let me see where it's at. Did I lose the tag for this? Oh no, you know what? I think I did. Hold on, let me see. Yep. Oh no, here it is. I was like, am I going crazy? I know I just saw it like not even a day ago. The name. Now these are all hybrids that are created by a specific grower or nursery, and so they have, that's why you see like number 622 or something, because this one came from a different vendor. And look, it's the same exact tag. I noticed it the other day. I'm like, huh, the wind's been pushing things around. Let me see. You know, I purposely put them like this, so when I do my What's in Bloom, they're all, but because it's so windy, it's pushed all the tags. This is why they get lost. Don't you see? And this came from two completely different vendors. So what that tells me is that they're probably purchasing these from a wholesale grower that only sells to nurseries, and they're creating these beautiful hybrids, Dendrobiums. Now, Girac, what you see here, Girac, that's, I believe, the last name of the grower that creates these hybrids. So whenever you see Girac, it comes from those nursery houses. So I'm thinking that that's where these came from. And that's why they have so many different like numbered ones, because they probably cross different ones to see what they would get. But I am on board with them. I love them. And for you guys that want to see the whole plant, these are not very pretty. It's just canes. But they do release a beautiful, see, this one does have the leaves, but they eventually drop the leaves and they're just canes. Dendrobiums, that's the one thing I wish they wouldn't do, is drop all their flowers. Now right behind me, I have this beautiful phalaenopsis. It's from Wilson Orchids. I got this last year at the international show, and this is Green Word. It says there word. I think it's world. Green world. But I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys have the same one, I know that this is quite popular right now. A lot of people have these. And they have just very irregular red spots that give it such a beautiful character. But I know that these are very, very popular right now. I'm seeing them a lot more. And there's the plant. I did just spray with Epsom salt. Epsom salt will make them stronger in the summer. That way they don't have, you know what, I should go put bug spray. Not bug spray, Skin So Soft. Because the mosquitoes are out at this time. So you see this comes right off and the leaves are very healthy and shiny. But Epsom salt will sit on your leaves when you spray it. And in the summer, I do spray quite often. Because I've had some of you ask me, you know, if it's the hard water. Well, yeah, that's part of it too. But I also feed salts to my plants, so they do get that. Now, this I just got at Redland. You guys were saying you were a little bit confused on the haul. So whatever I show you that I got in the Redlands, I'm going to say this was part of the haul. There shouldn't be any more confusions after that. I hope not. So this is part of my haul from Redland International Orchid Show. And it's the Alba Tempenses. And I got this, look how cute, in this little, it didn't come in this little pot. It came in those little plastic pots I tell you guys I don't like. If you saw my repotting, you'll see it. And here if you want to see. It's crossed with self, which means when they were crossing these, hold on. See, this is why I hate taking it out, because with the equipment, now I have to do this. And then remember to come back and put it in there. So I'm going to try not to take them out. If I can't see them, you know, I'll just say the name and edit it in there. So this is the results of the blooms right after budding. Because I believe when I showed you that it was still in bud. It didn't have all the blooms open. But it's a very, very pretty flower. And it is native to Florida, by the way. The Tempenses. I'm not sure about the Alba. I don't know if this is something, a creation of man and non-existent in the wild. I haven't researched that yet. But I do know that the regular Tempenses is called Tampa butterfly, because they look like little butterflies when they discovered them. Or the Florida Tempenses. But it's a beautiful, beautiful little flower. Let me see if I can capture up close here. And I'm sorry about the background noise. It's ranch life. There's always somebody working on the yard here. You know what? I'm gonna cut this right here for a second and get some mosquito spray. All right, so this is what they call the blue twinkle Dendrobium, but this one is a hybrid. There it is. And it was gifted to me by Alan. And I always forget. I don't know why I have a hard time remembering the name of his. Sorry, my hands are very oily now because I put Skin So Soft. And it is in oil. So it's like for real here. So I have to be careful touching these now because they could be damaged. Actually, I'm not even going to touch them. So there you go. Hopefully I usually hold the thing because of the wind. But isn't that the cutest little flower? It's adorable. And it's just starting to bloom. It still has all these. And there's the plant. Because I know some of you like to see the full plant. So anyways, I'll put the name of where this came from. I'm sorry, Alan. I don't know why I have a hard time. Gold? I keep thinking Gold Coast, but I know it's not that. I don't know why I keep thinking that. Anyways, my God, you can see the mosquitoes flying in front of the flower. But anyways, this is the blue twinkle that I own. He was so kind to give me that as a gift in appreciation for the video that I put out at Apopka. Anyways, this is starting to die off some flowers. But I did promise I would show you this because you still see how boxy it looks. It's lost its shape. But I had put this straight out of the container it came in. I didn't want to disturb the roots. So I had put it exactly like that on the mount. This was about 2 years ago. And I didn't disturb the roots at all. And look at the plant. So I wanted to show you guys that don't be afraid to just leave it in you know, the container it comes in. When you pull it out, if the roots are already wrapped all around the moss, if you see that the medium is clean and it looks fresh, you can go ahead and do this, especially on a mount. And this is the white alba, hono hono, or anosmum, Dendrobium anosmum. And it's so fragrant. It has one of the sweetest raspberry fragrances of all my dendrobiums here. And it's just a beautiful, rich, white color with that fuzzy lip that makes it so much fun. But it gave me a lot of beautiful flowers this year. All right, now this is where I'm keeping now some of my sun orchids, and I realize they're actually doing way better. They're not losing as many leaves. I used to have them out here, if you guys remember, out here in the front, and it will get sun all day. But I don't know, I think they like it better in here. And this is I don't have a tag for this. This was a gift. So if you guys know exactly the name of this, I'm gonna have to call Maria and ask her, because she gave me this. Because I thought it was a Bangkok beauty, but oh, look at this. Take a look at this. Unicum, I think that's the name how you say it. And this was a birthday gift from T, owner of Florida Orchid House. Look how pretty that is. It just gave me all those blooms. So T, if you're watching, look how beautiful your gift turned out. She's doing really good. She has all those little babies coming out. All right, now let's come into my little private Idaho. This is my extended greenhouse. It used to be for newbies. This was the only area. God, I look like I'm at the beach. This used to be the only area, right? It had a screen there. But now my partner extended this, created these beautiful stamped concrete floors, and added this whole other half. But we're solid roofing here with where I control the water, so it doesn't get wet with rain all the time. Now, if I want them to get wet, I'll just hang them on that pole in the center out there, and they'll get wet. So let's see, it's pretty overwhelming here, but these are some that I really wanted to show you. This one, I couldn't remember the name, and as soon as I smelled it, I'm like, wait a minute, I know what this is. I forgot that this is the chocolate smelling encyclia. It smells like melted chocolate. See, I hate to see these. This is my OCD. I take them out. So anyways, this is a Phoenicia. I think that's how you say it. Phoenicia. I'll show you the tag. I made a tag for it because I didn't have a tag. And one of my viewers confirmed it. They said, I believe what you have is a encyclia Phoenicia. And I was like, yes, you are correct. I already found out. And it is definitely that. They also call it the chocolate smelling orchid. So I'm like, how obvious is that? Let me show you the name. Phoenicia. Anyways, that's beautiful. But even this is more beautiful. This encyclia to me is probably my favorite. I got this at Krull-Smith about, I think 2 years ago. And I have to thank Blanca and Laz for this, because they only had 3, and they actually separated the 3, one for each one of us. And it hadn't bloomed for me. I totally forgot I even had this. And this year it gave me these 2 spikes, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what is this? I don't recall owning this. And I think it was Laz when he came here, he goes, this is your it's a toughie one to say. I have to read it to say it. Prismatocarpa encyclia, Prismatocarpa. And yes, I've been busy bee printing all my tags and making sure, because, you know, I'm going to be spending more time back here and probably doing more videos for you guys. And I want to make sure that everything is correct. So this to me is probably one of the most beautiful encyclias in the encyclia world. It's just so sophisticated with those cranberry spots, and then that flare of lilac. It's not even purple, it's like a pinkish lilac labellum, and then you have that touch of yellow right in the center. Just beautiful. And then the shape of the labellum is just, looks like little icicles hanging from a branch or a leaf. Just very pretty. And it's a pretty big, look at the size, it's pretty big. So these, the only place I've seen them, me personally, is at Krull-Smith. And I don't even know if they still have any. So if you guys want any, just give them a call. And now this I showed you, okay? This is part of my haul from the Redland International Orchid Show. I'm gonna make sure that people are clear on that, because people are like, oh, I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite see it. And I'm like, what? Just, I said it. So I guess, you know, it could be overwhelming when there's too many flowers, and then so I get it. But I thought I was being clear. So now when I show you what's in bloom in this segment, if it's part of the haul, I'm gonna make sure you guys know. So this is part of the haul. This is from Pam. And isn't this a gorgeous flower? Now, Terry was telling me, and she is correct, that I've been gravitating towards Arides a lot, Aride orchids. This is an Aride. I love these big tags. Thank you, Pam, for making them this large, because you can read them really easy. And there's the name of the company, Orchids in Bloom. So if you guys want one of these, I believe these are $65. And my God, is this, hold on, let me see. Yeah, it still has fragrance. It is so nicely fragrant. And right next to it is a Arides Haluetiana alba. And this is from Krull-Smith. And as soon as I put it here, my leaves were yellowing because it was in too much bright light. So I put it in here, and now it's not as, it's going back to its natural, beautiful, deep green. Even though it's good to have that lightish apple, granny apple green on your leaves, because that just means that your orchids are going to probably produce more blooms. They do like a lot of light, you know, but it has to be filtered light on some of them. Now look at this beautiful Rhyncholalia cattleya RLC. Look at the tones on that. And the fragrance is like pure lemon candy. The color reflects the fragrance. Now, again, I've been doing tags because once they bloom, I can tag them. This is an RLC Yen Surprise Seiko. I got this as a bag baby. So you guys that don't have faith on bag babies, this is the result of a bag baby already. I would say 3 years, because it's before I even started the channel. And she was not doing too happy in a pot, so I ended up moving her to this mount, and she struggled a little bit, but then she came right back. And look at these flowers. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. They're beautiful. I don't want to touch them because with my oily hands, I will destroy those petals. Now this is still blooming. I did cover this on the last What's in Bloom. This is also from Krull-Smith. By the way, I don't remember where this is from. I think it was I'm not even going to think because I don't remember who it was. It was an international one for sure. This came from Krull-Smith. It was the only one they had a couple of shows ago. I can't remember. I think it was a year and a half ago. And I was walking around with this and I almost got mugged by the crowd. They were all like, where do you get that? Where do you get that? Oh my God, I want that. I want that. And I was like, oh, I didn't know it was that special. I should have like said, okay, I'm going to start the bidding. But anyway, I'm trying to not let it crash against this stuff because since now they're all blooming, they're all like the weight distributes differently. But it's just a beautiful little Cattleya. And this down here I did show already. It's my beautiful, beautiful anniversary gift from Jeremy in Hawaii at S&W. And my God, these, and they've been blooming for a while. These flowers on these Dendrobiums look like Cattleyas. Look at the texture and shape of this beautiful flower. Now, do they have fragrance? No, these don't have fragrance. I never bothered to. But it's a gorgeous size, beautiful size. I still haven't repotted because I'm waiting for it to stop blooming. Now on some I do repot when they're blooming because I know that they're pretty hardy and they'll be able to handle it. But certain ones like this that I'm not too familiar with this, I'm just gonna wait until all the flowers fall and then I'll repot it in a bigger pot because it's wanting to. These are all new leaves here, as you can see, and it's wanting to be moved. Now, let me see. What do I have here on this side? I don't want to skip anything that I haven't shown you. Well, here's the Tempenses that I was telling you, the Florida Tempenses. Now, I don't have a tag for this because I know exactly what it is, but I will be doing a tag soon. And this is native. This is the one that I told you is called the Tampa Butterfly Orchid. But look at how many beautiful flowers it gave me. And it's not a very big plant. This is the size of the plant. I mean, it's a fair size for Tempenses, but it just gave me so many gorgeous little butterfly flowers. And the color is just really, really pretty. I love anything yellow with a pink labellum. It's just such a great contrast. Now let's go into the other half. Now this here was one of the, if not the very first Vanda I bought at Krull-Smith when I went to their show, their fall show. And this is a Mimi Palmer cross with a tessellata. Now it does have a tag, but this thing has grown so big. Oh, here we go. But it has grown so big in 3 years. And I was showing Jake, he was the one from Krull-Smith. He's the one that sold this to me. He didn't remember, but he was so happy to hear the whole story. I'm like, you were the one who convinced me about this Vanda, and you told me this, when it gets to a bigger size, you're gonna have so many blooms and it smells like candy and it gives a lot of cakeys. And I gotta tell you, he was not lying at all. Now I did notice these little marks, they've had these marks for a while, but I am considering perhaps because of the changing of from outside in, they do go through a shock. So I may be spraying band rot, and I might do a video on that. I'm not sure, on fungicide. I'm not very keen on spraying heavy chemicals. Oh, look at this, how cute. Because of the same reason. Because I do have little critters that are very beneficial to my greenhouse. Like this little critter here keeps the mosquito population in control because they eat mosquitoes. And they don't hurt your flowers or anything like that. And they do pollinate. So anyway, that's why I don't like to spray, but I may have to do it. I do it once a year. And I try to make sure that that's the only time I need it, because spraying that, I mean, I've never seen any like death of insects or anything when I've sprayed it. So I know that I'm not really causing major harm, but I don't really like to use it too much, especially in an enclosed area. So this one here is, I'm sorry, when I start talking, my throat gets so dry. I don't know if you can see that there. Tian Chai cross with reconciled Celestes. I think that's what it says. Anyways, it gave me 3 spikes. It has one that's fully opened. Oh, well, one that has opened and is starting to go out. Then I have this one here. This is gorgeous, fresh flowers. And then I have these 2 that are about to open. And I have it's coming out of the keiki. So that's a very healthy Vanda. I got that Vanda from Krull-Smith as well. I'm sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I think it's the heat too. Now these are all from Banjong. These flowers are just, what can I say? You know, they speak for themselves. And just the plant itself. I know I brag a lot about my Banjong Vandas, but look, I'm not even gonna brag. I'm gonna let you guys see. They're just healthy Vandas, and I've had these for quite a while. And when they bloom, they give me such great flowers. Like, they get bigger and more abundant. This one gave me 2 spikes. This is one of the newer ones that I've gotten. I've only had this for about a year. And then there's this one here. I had this one outside. Thank God I brought it in because look, see, that's what starts happening when you keep them outdoors. They do get a little bit of a bang. Oh, look, another little spike there, Mama. You're so generous. Thank you. When you see that, that's usually weather or it could be fungus. So you want to make sure that, you know, you try to take care of it and see what it is before it gets too out of control. Now with me, I think those are more burnt because they've been there for a while. They haven't gone any worse. And ever since we put everything in here, I see a huge improvement. Now this is another one that I got over at Apopka when I got the other Dendrobiums I showed you in the beginning. These are from Tan, from Springwater. And he gave me a deal. He goes, I'll give you all 3, because I like 3 of them. And he goes, well, what if I give him all 3 for 100? So I took him. And this one is the first time it blooms for me. Look how pretty it is. It's just so, it's like a painting. So pretty. And that's the whole plant, by the way. It's on a really cool mount. It almost looks like, you know, those things in piers. That's what it looks like. And it has holes drilled in so the roots can actually dig themselves through there. Now this is another one. I got this at Backyard Bloom, and I don't know what this is, but it's beautiful. it's gotten so pretty. But my Dendrobiums this season are like busting out. They're super happy. Now I did show you guys these. So if you want to go to my last What's in Bloom, this is also from Banjong. This is my big mama. I've had her for many years. I would say about 5-6 years. And this year she just gave so many flowers. She had 2 more spikes. These dried up. But I wish I would have taken we were in the middle of construction. This was beautiful when it was full. Oh, it looked something, I don't know. I just kept on thinking Asian. Like I kept on thinking I was in Japan somewhere. It's so pretty. Right here, my Paxorn fragrance. Look at that flower. Tell me what you guys think about that. It almost looks like the petals are made out of copper. They have this shimmer, this shine. And you know, this Vanda, I got this one over at Krull-Smith too, over at Ophi's when they have the fairs. And I really love the labellum being the lip of the flower, against that, the contrast of that coppery petal. It's almost like panther print. But you get a bonus with this, the amazing fragrance. It is so sweet. It is such a delicious, I gotta take a little whiffy. Oh, it smells, you know, it has Mimi Palmer in it, so I believe it does. I think that Mimi Palmer is one of the crosses in it. And it does have an FCC award. This one, not this plant in particular, but it's seedling or clone probably is what this is. And she was not happy when I had her outside, but look, she's coming back. And then right next to it is Xena from Banjong. Very nicely fragrant yellow flower as well. This one usually, I'm surprised it doesn't have, let me see, hold on. Because the wind is moving things around in here. Usually this one shoots out too, but no, it only has, oh yeah, that's right. This one dried out. See right there? It dried out. Poor thing, but it gave me a beautiful spike with gorgeous flowers. And then right next to it, I love these. I think it was gonna have way more flowers. It usually gives me a lot more, but I discovered thrips. This is when we were in the middle of construction, and I was able to save 3 of them. There's the other one in the back. And I saved them with Savine, the product that I showed you guys before on my repotting. If you haven't seen the repotting on phals, I talk about it and how I use it. Such a pretty flower. I got this one in RF Orchids. There we go. And this is RF if you guys want to ever reach out and touch faith. Why did I think of that song right now? Depeche Mode. So that's their address. And if you guys are in Florida and you have not been to RF, you are missing out on such an experience. Sorry, I have this on full. Because their location is like a botanical garden. And if you get the tour to see their yard, I actually was a tour guide once to show their yard. They have beautiful, beautiful gardens, orchids everywhere. Now, this here, I got from Lady Vanda. I don't have a tag for this. I had tagged it before and I lost a tag. Literally, I think this is the 3rd time I lose it because it's kind of a weird shape. So I don't know. I just keep losing it. I think it's called a pink spotted mocara or something like that. It's a mocara. I just can't remember what it was. But anyways, it is such a blooming orchid. I put 4 in here. And they're always shooting these beautiful little buds and blooming. Look all the way up there. How pretty is that? I love those. And right next to it, to my surprise, now this tag is, here we go. This is the name, Vanda Thonglarsson. And there's a Vanda species called Sandriana, and it reminds me of this. And somebody, I had called it a Sandriana when it first bloomed. I go, oh, I have a, and they're like, no, that may have it in its background, but it's not. And so I never noticed that the tag was right here. And I'm like, oh my God, it was hiding behind the roots. And now this is what I hate about these crates. See how they get rotted and they start breaking? So this is due for a repotting. So I may get one of those unbreakable pots. Maybe I'll get one from Roxy. Roxy, if you're watching, what do you think for this color? How cool would that be? I think it'll look nice. The thing is that I'm gonna have to like really be careful breaking the wood off of these roots. I have to wet it, and it's doable, but it's scary. And yes, my Norma Jackson is still bursting out in crazy blooms. Look how pretty this is. This is from Sierra Madre, and I bought this at Redland. I think I paid $75 for this big monster. It was already pretty big. And the flower, I'm trying to get a good, there we go. So pretty, huh? It's like a champagne, rosy champagne color. And you know, one of these dies and then a new one comes out, and it's like that. It's had so many I'm very happy with this. Here, let me see if I can. Now that we're here, we have more space because I always have trouble showing this one. There you go. It's a beautiful, beautiful. Oh no, he's barking. Now this one here, I cannot forget this one. I did record it when it was looking really, really, really like fresh. So maybe I'll inset, but right now there's still some great clusters in there. This is a Bulbophyllum bicolor. I'm trying not to talk too much. Look how many it has. Now again, guys, this is salt. See? I like to show that because I know, to me, it bothers me a lot. And I'm also thinking in the future of putting up a very strong filter in my water here. We have one for the house, which is really good. But I don't have it for the sprinkler system, which is the water I use. But see, it comes right off. But these are so pretty. They have such a cool shape. Trying to get them as close as possible too. And this is one of my oldest orchids here. This is pretty big. And I got this in Tampa, Florida. I would say about maybe 10 years ago. And it was a tiny little thing. It had, I think it had one little cluster of flowers. And I bought it from a lady called Marie. And Marie, or Marie, the proper way of saying it in Haiti, it's just starting to open. This is a sunspot mocara. She always had a booth of orchids in the flea market. And I used to look at that and say, wow, her orchids are just on a whole other level of perfect, right? That they were really pretty. I'm trying to see if there's any other flower. I'm missing some, but you know what? We're not here for every single one. I'm showing you the ones that, like this, I already showed you guys in my last What's in Bloom. So let's go in the quick tent. So anyways, Marie, unbeknownst to me, in the last or second to last Apopka show that I went over at Krull-Smith, I hear someone speaking that sounded like her. When I turned, she had a Krull-Smith shirt on, and I'm thinking, what is happening? It turns out she's known Frank Smith for almost 30-something years. She's been working with them that long. And the orchids that she would sell were the ones that she would grow herself from Krull-Smith. So basically, those orchids that I have from her are all from Krull-Smith. So my oldest orchids pretty much come from Krull-Smith. It was almost like full circle. We're both in shock when we saw each other. So anyways, guys, here, you might not notice it now. And on film, it doesn't register like that. There was a mess. As you can see, there's broken pots. My phals got so big. Look at this. They got so crazy long, and the pots were so small that I have begonias growing on my pots. Okay, so this is my next project. Because we've been so busy with the extension of the other greenhouse, I haven't really been able to do a major cleanup here, which I'm going to do very soon. But with that said, I have so many amazing blooms happening right now. These gorgeous peloric. Peloric means that the lip, see how the lip here looks like this, but then these petals look like these. Peloric means that those petals are mimicking the lip. See? This is the labellum, and these petals are mimicking. And that's it used to happen by, I'm trying to remember the proper terminology, by mutation, right? So Joseph Wu, which is an international orchid vendor and grower from, I think they're from Taiwan. I'm sorry if it's Taiwan or Thailand. You guys know that I always confuse, those two. I don't know why. But they come here for the Redland show and for the Tamiami show. And he specializes, or should I say the whole family specializes in crossing these gorgeous peloric phals. Now, I know there's people that are purists that are like, I'm not interested in that, but I don't care. It is a beautiful flower. It is really, really interesting, and I just like them. Here's another one. I mean, that is just stunning. They look like a whole completely different flower, almost not even orchid-like. And that's also from Joseph Wu. This is, I'll give you the name. They do have names, by the way. These are phals with names. And if you guys want to reach out, I mean, that's his information, his number, and his, I guess that's the email. What is the name? Oh, see, this one, when I take it out, yeah, this one I tagged myself, because the original tag was breaking. Phalaenopsis Lewsbury Trinity peloric. So for you newbies out there, now you know when you go to the orchid shows and you see that and you want to sound really, really brainy, you say, ooh, peloric. It doesn't matter if you just learned it 5 minutes ago. You get licensed to do that. Now this here is my Jim Clark. I always say Clark, but it's Clarkson. Here. I must know a Jim Clark or something like that. And these are one of the most beautifully fragrant bulbophyllums out there. These bulbophyllums are, number one, they're just stunning. These cranberry and yellow tones that it's mixed in with. To me, this is just so cool. And then that, you know, this little labellum here, well, I'm trying to focus. This labellum here, that trigger is because when flies or other bugs that pollinate go into that area there, this flips in, right? Boop. And then the bug is trapped up in here, and the pollen sticks to their back. And then when they come out, then they could go and pollinate the next flower. Nature just rocks. I mean, to know how to do something that, you know, so gently pushes the bug inside just through the bug's own weight of walking, you know, in front of it, is just super cool. And it is a heavy bloomer. It will give you, see in there, there's more buds. It will give you more and more blooms. And this one down here, it's very similar to the Jim Clarkson in its shape. It's a lobii, and this one has an award of merit. And I got these, most of my bulbophyllums come from Krull-Smith. It's just that their quality is exquisite, you know, and if you're gonna collect bulbophyllums, you wanna get stuff that's really fine line, you know, award winning, because it's gonna reward you in the end with this amount of flowers. This is already dry, but this is their falcatum. This was crazy full of flowers, just like this is. And speaking of Krull-Smith quality, guess who decided to come out and show their beauty? Yes, for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you, if I can get the camera correct, the Bulbophyllum graveolens. It is such a cool looking flower. And it too has the little trigger things here. Let me see if I can. It's not moving as much. I don't think these move as much. Now I will say, don't ever, from here I don't smell it. But if you put your nose up close, you are going to be, you're going to be sorry. It is so stinky. It's a beautiful flower, very unique, very strange. Let me see if without the light, it's receiving the light from the tent. It does have a very unique fragrance. Let me see. I'm gonna do one for you guys. Hold on. Oh my God! It's like It's like sweaty clothes. You know when clothes gets wet and sweaty and is there for a long time and you forgot to put in the washer, and then when you pull it out, it smells mildewy, sweaty, and yucky. Well, that's what this smells like. But my God, is it a beautiful orchid. Look at the leaves on this. And I've had this less than a year, and look, it's already blooming. And I think Laz's is blooming too. When he told me his was blooming, I was like, you know, I think mine is blooming, but I wasn't sure if it was a new shoot, because this did give me a lot of great shoots. Excuse me. Or if it was a flower, and guess what? It's the flower. Just a stunning art piece. But I was super excited. I was like, oh, I can't wait to do the What's in Bloom, because this was something that really excited me. Now here I have several Bulbophyllums that have been blooming for quite some time now. My newest one is this one, which was a gift from Susie from Sierra Madre a while back. And that's the name. It actually has a tag. Because I really, not only did I love the flower, I was like, they had him in these, hold up. Nelson, you don't learn, do you? Oh, that fly. Okay. Look at the pot. And now look at the flowers. It's a perfect, here, let me do it like this. That looks better. But it's a gorgeous fowl. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God, Susie, this is really pretty. You know, it has just all these gorgeous warm colors of summer. And of course, it blooms in summer. So let's put her back here. We don't want to keep her there in front of the fan. Even though with this heat, I'm sure she likes it. But it is a very beautiful fowl. So that's my fowl that I'm featuring, because I have covered, I have covered all these when they were in full bloom, and it was really a show to see. And then look, guys, my big mama, she literally fell over. Nothing got hurt. Everything's perfectly fine. I just have to find the right pot for it and maybe I'll do a potting. But the flowers are perfectly fine. Repotting with this one. That should be a challenge. All right, so we're done with this. We're done with, I don't really have anything on the trees that's blooming now. It's just too hot for them. I did do this right here. Look at this, how cute. This was the old area where I would put my table and work under here. It was temporary. It was like a pop-up. A pop-up orchid stand. But I realized that I had all my Hoyas stuck on that tree on the other side, and you guys never get to see it. So now I'm putting all my Hoyas here, and you know what? They are loving it. Look at this. It's just peduncles upon peduncles upon more peduncles upon more peduncles. Even my caryi, my variegated caryi that has never bloomed, is blooming. These are blooming too. So I think this is the sweet spot. I'm gonna keep them in here. Roxy, you had asked me, she's doing amazing. Look, this is what they call the lipstick plant, and for some reason inside my quick tent it started getting these red markings, and I asked so many people, nobody knew what it was, even the boys at Ophi's. But then I moved her and put her out here, and look, she started growing really fast and looking really good. So it was just a matter of changing it and putting it in a different spot. And then this one gave me this gorgeous crown of flowers. Look at that, guys. And this one has like a chocolatey, it's like a chocolatey smell. Is that not so pretty? Every time I see it, for some reason, it reminds me of the New Year's ball from New York coming down. a crimson princess, variegated. Now let's finish it off here. I have the fan on. Now you guys saw these. I already potted these. I showed you guys how to repot, and the flowers are looking beautiful. They're not affected whatsoever by the repotting. They're actually pretty happy. Look at this. How pretty is this? So pretty. Now this one, that's the name. I made my own tag because on transportation I lost it. I got it over at Orchids in Bloom from Pam, and this has a beautiful fragrance. It smells very lemony, and I bought it because of that. I said I like when it reflects the color. And this one also has a great fragrance. This is from Wilson Orchids. And this is one that I was showing you guys that I potted too. And they intertwine and created one ball. And they've been like that for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And they love being together. They're soul sisters. And then these are also, by the way, this is called, I have to make a tag for this. This is called a phalaenopsis bellina, fire shape. And the reason, come on, focus. The reason it's called fire shape is because the petals are the shape of the character that means fire in Chinese. Or should I say, is it Mandarin? I guess it's Chinese. And then this one, this beauty here. Oh, by the way, my hands are already pretty clear of the oil. They're not as bad as before. This one is from Krull-Smith, and I got it because it was just very different looking, very unique. So yes, you can repot while they're in bloom. I don't do it with all my blooming orchids. I find that phals are stronger. They could really handle, you know, being repotted while in bloom. I've never really had a bad response to my repotting with orchids that are blooming in general. Now this is called a Lori Mortimer. Now you guys saw a lot of these when I was over at Pam's, and it is a beautiful flower. Now I'm not crazy about the actual canes because this one lost all its leaves. So even though it's mixed in with my Schomburgkia and stuff, you can't really tell, but when it's blooming, it's just fascinating. Very, very pretty Dendrobium. Those curly, twisty ears are amazing. I'm here for that all day. And then of course, I've shown you guys this before, but I'll show you again because it's such a rare, beautiful Dendrobium. This is called the Cher's Dream. And this was named by David, who owns Morning Dove Nursery. And he sells, I don't know if he still has any, but look at these Schomburgkias. He sells these species, Schomburgkias, or Myrmecophila, however you like to call it. And these Cher Dreams. Now, the Schomburgkia, let me see if I had named it. Yeah, I had tagged it in. Oh, see, even my tags break. That's what that is. Yeah, the weather here is really, really harsh on our tags. It is so hot that it's just, it dries the tags up. Now this is not an orchid, but I just wanted to share it with you because this time of year, I forgot what they're called. I know the name of this, but right now I'm drawing a blank. So I'll put it underneath if I remember. It's funny, they don't show how yellow they are because they're very, very yellow. They look kind of white here. But it's a beautiful, beautiful plant for summer. And I do water it a lot because with this heat, it helps produce the blooms, and it gives it enough strength to push out those blooms. All right, guys, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else that I can show you for now. Now, guys, right before closing the show, this is one of the ones that I was really, really excited to show you. And of course, because I'm rushing, I forget. So I came back to show you guys this beautiful Epicatlia ciliare. This is one of the coolest looking flowers in my collection. I love this plant, this orchid, so much. Now, this was actually a gift from a viewer turned friend that gifted me this. He was one of the, I believe, the very first viewer that actually gave me a gift, and it was this plant 3 years ago. And I put it on this wood mount because it wasn't doing well in the pot I had it in. And it struggled for a little bit. And I'm like, no, you have to do good. You were a gift. I didn't just buy you. And then it just picked up and started like producing new growth like this right here. And this is very important. You know, when you have new growth and you have spiking and flowers, that's an orchid that's very healthy and is happy. But look at the flower pattern. They look like little birds flying, don't they? Or dragons. Some people say they look like dragons with their tail swinging behind. So Frank, look how beautiful your orchid has gotten. She is a show this season. I love, 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 love her. And she looks great in that mount. Because the leaves are very lanky. It's not one, you know, it doesn't have these thick leaves. It's a very lanky. So when it's not blooming, you know, you don't really notice the blooms coming out until I came up close and I was like, oh my God, this has a lot of spikes, or buds, should I say. And I couldn't wait for them to open completely and share them with you. So there you go. All right, everyone, that is it. That is the end of our show today. It's my favorite of all time, the What's in Bloom. I love showing you guys the flowers because to me is that, like everybody who collects orchids, that is the reward. When you see your flower, that means you've been feeding, you've been taking care of your plant properly, your plant is happy, especially when you see more and more every year. And I'm seeing an influx of more inflorescence on my orchids, and I think is due to knowing the care, but most of all is observation. I explain this to you guys all the time, and I still get comments saying, what's the best way to water? What's the best way to do this? It all depends on your location. So when I show you what I have and my soon to come how to do videos, this is for my environment. And I always explain to you guys, what may work for me may not work for you, and what may work for you may not work for me. Like there is this controversy, you shouldn't put your orchids all together. Well, I don't know if I can pick, no, I'm not even gonna try. This is a big one. This Schomburgkia, there's a couple in here. It's been here for like 4 years. I know it's been there for 4 years. They do good here. I've done a lot of like bunch potting. It's what I call it, bunch potting, to create a faux specimen because I'm very impatient and I don't have time to wait 10 years to see my specimen. So I'd rather put a bunch of them and like in 3 or 4 years, it's a specimen, voila. So for me, it works. And I like to enjoy it that way. I know some people don't like to do it. It's all a matter of taste. At the end of the day, they're your plants and you can do whatever you want with them. No one should tell you what to do with your plants. They're yours. So that's what I do with mine. And I do experiments a lot because I feel that by experimenting, I learn. And I will tell you, not all of them do well, but by the most part, they do. And I love doing this because then I can share it with you guys. And then if you guys want to play experiment, you can do it with your orchids. And I do get a lot of comments saying, oh, it worked for me, it's wonderful, I never got it to bloom. Thanks to that instruction or that tip, I was able to get it to bloom. So it is working for a lot of you guys, but I'm not saying it's gonna work for everybody. So just look at everything that you do with your orchids as an experimentational phase until you figure it out. And by observing them, they will speak to you. They will let you know exactly what they like and what they don't like. Because orchids will tell you right away. In their leaves, in the coloring, in their spikes, if they're spiking, even if they're giving you new shoots. If they start giving you new shoots and spike, that's a happy orchid. So you want to look for that. You want to always look around and every day spend a little bit of time, even if it's just 10 minutes with your collection. You know, because I have a lot and I find the time. And I run a business, I run a ranch, and I drive a lot of miles a day to get to my business. So there is time throughout the day. If this is your passion, I keep hitting this poor stick is dry. If this is your passion and you really love them, then take care of them the way they should be taken care of, and they will reward you for years and years to come. You'll see. And yes, you will lose some, but you will gain so much more. So guys, that is the end of my spiel today. I want to thank you all. I want to thank all the comments you guys are leaving, all the donations to my channel. You guys are so freaking awesome. I've been using those donations on all the gas that I've been wasting on going on all these trips, because my God, has gas gone up. So thank you for those donations. It really helps. You have no idea how much that helps. Immensely. So thank you for the super thanks. And I think that's it. I'm done for today's What's in Bloom. I was gonna say Orchids in Bloom. So anyways, guys, go away. That is the end. I am Nelson. You've been watching Nature Nell, and remember to always keep it green. I'll see you next time.